have a moderation, so we can balance. Within the heart, we might have sadness, but if we can balance with the happiness, sadness, there will be always the beauty in between to keep zen, moderation, calmness.
Mariko Hiyama is a passionate healer and teacher who blends ancient and modern practices, from facial reflex therapy and Japanese facelifting to yoga and qigong, to help others cultivate true well-being and self-awareness.
I've heard, where somebody will say, oh, my grandfather had anger issues, my father had anger issues, it naturally comes to me. So they've made that pain point theirs automatically without thought process.
If the emotion has been suppressed in our body, it will slowly shows. It could be pain, it could be some inflammation on the surface level. Even it's a fake. If you think of the sad time, immediately the edge of the lips go down. Anger, sadness, frustration, like face becomes so tight. Unhealed scar remains underneath the skin. So there are various ways that it might be staying in our physical conditions.
So Mariko, tell me, what made you walk away from a finance career to become a face reflexologist and a wellness expert?
Well, thank you for asking me that question. Because for me, spending almost 10 years in finance, banking, the insurance industry, that without that time of my life, I would not be in the industry where I am. So I would say it was not really walking away, but it was like natural shift from where I was. It would go back to my childhood. When I was small, my grandmother used to heal me by placing a hand on my tummy when I had pains on my back and tummy. And then because of that, I knew already that the hands are the great tools for helping people. So having that mind always in my heart, then naturally as time goes, I found my way to enter this wellness industry.
Wow. So it was the calling from childhood, or would you say it was a calling in adulthood?
Ooh, that's also a very nice question. I would say it's both. Because since when I was a child, I was so interested in like holistic approach of well-being, healing. And by being exposed to such methods like traditional Chinese medicine, traditional Japanese medicines, even the Ayurveda when I grew up. And I knew that there was something beauty, the art in it. And when I grew up, I had a chance to step in.
So did you understand physical distress signs before they show up in our mental state?
I would say there are several steps. One is stagnated emotions. If the emotion has been suppressed in our body, it will slowly shows. It could be pain, it could be some inflammation on the surface level. So this is one part. But if somebody had physical, for example, accident or any surgery type of things, then it might be some scars, unhealed scar remains underneath the skin. So there are various ways that it might be staying in our physical conditions.
How do you differentiate between it showing up as trauma emotionally or it showing up as just emotions that we can't deal with?
So often we have like acute and chronic parts. And for example, chronic part, back pain. Some people come to me, I have been having backache already 10 years, entire my life, some people. And with one face reflex therapy session, that pain goes away.
Wow.
This is case by case, but if such case happens, it differently something stagnated energy flow or some mindset has been blocking the person's energy or emotion to move forward. As many people say, emotion is moving energy and motion to help you to move forward. In such case, chronic case, it can be somewhere stored. And acute case. The acute case could be breaking up, losing someone you love. Such kind of emotions could just trigger something little. And then people might find all these different illness or even pain in different parts of the body. So these are something quite different case by case, and I need to figure out what's happening into the person's condition.
So, do you think a lot of people store this emotional pain as physical pain, and maybe the physical pain isn't present, but they're associating that mental pain with the physical pain?
That's also one of the cases. For example, like I used to teach yoga classes, and some students come to me. I always have a shoulder pain, always. Okay, and have you ever thought why the shoulder pain is happening? When do you feel the pain? And actually, some people associate that pain as a part of their personality. And when the pain goes away, they think, this is not me.
They lost a part of themselves.
Yes, like I myself associate with the pain, and that combines as what they are. So as you mentioned earlier, this pain and personality, there might be some connections.
So, do you think most of the physical pain is coming from emotional pain, or is physical pain actually an injury? Obviously, in some cases, it will be an injury, a surgery, an accident, but people hold on to that pain for years and years and still think it's there when it's not there.
Yes, it can happen. And sometimes in our wellness industry, we call it as a phantom kind of effect, that after surgery, you move out a certain organ. But then even if it's not there, we still feel the pain or any sort of like existence. So there is a way that how nerve system is connected to our brain and our physical body. In the same way, emotions, physical pain, and there is a deep connection through the nerve systems. Therefore, finding out where exactly manifesting the pain, for example, it's very important. And in that way, by touching the face, I can always associate where it's coming from, why it's happening. So this is how I see.
Neil, it's very interesting what you said, loss of organ, and how we associate the pain with it. Because I read a very interesting theory that when a mother's pregnant, she has a child within, right? And she carries it for a long period of time. Now you're feeding that child, you have nutrients going in, you're so happy, the happy hormones are up, all the way up, all your hormones are up. So it's a very elevated feeling. Now they say that postpartum depression is due to many reasons. So I read a very interesting theory that it's actually the body's loss. So when the body feels like they've lost the baby, so emotionally you've gained the baby, but physically you've lost the baby. So it was a part of your body, and now the body has lost. That is also a pain that the body manifests into the mind.
Yes.
What do you feel about that?
So I have not experienced the motherhood, so therefore that this part is probably something deeply related to the mothers who experience that process. But I assume as a woman that if any of this important part of our body as a woman, differently, because each part has a connection with our entire physical systems. We call it an energy flow. For example, uterus. That's also considered as a vital systems that gives us the meaning of living. And for example, if any case is losing that part of system, I feel personally that it could cause energy flow blockage or reducing the balance, hormone systems, or even emotionally, like disconnection could happen.
Correct.
Yes. So for example, post-delivery, differently, you're holding 9 months of important life within the body. So letting, them come out to the world, differently, your body will go through a massive change and readjusting to the new way of life. And that's the beauty of the human body.
It adapts.
Yes, exactly.
So tell me, I know you're a face reflexologist and you're an expert in this field. Can you explain to us what in basic terms does it do and what does it mean?
Okay. Thank you for asking the question. So, face reflex therapy has been developed by my teacher, Lone Sorensen. She combined traditional Eastern medicine, such as traditional Tibetan medicine, Ayurveda from India, traditional Chinese medicine, Vietnamese, Japanese, and one unique part is coming from Latin America. So, almost, let's say, from each continent, she combined different approach and then put into a systematic way to analyze and help to unblock energy and also to help our body heal from within. So touching by face using my hands, I can detect what's happening in each person and also to help improve the person's condition. That is the kind of long story short, that's how it works.
Wow. How did shifting careers affect your mental health?
Actually, it helped a lot. So knowing that I wanted to use my hands to contribute to the human society was always there since when I was a child. So when I discovered face reflex therapy, I knew immediately, this is it. So for me, changing, it was not dramatic shift. When I discovered face reflexology, I was in a business school studying entrepreneurship and innovation. And that part of the study also gave me an idea that success doesn't exist not only being the CEO of the big company, but also to be the person to help others improve the quality of life.
That's so beautiful. That's absolutely true. I think pure joy comes from helping others. And you can, like you rightly said, you can be the CEO of a company, you can be a $1 billion person, you can be running multiple companies, but in the end, that satisfaction of helping a human being is, takes you to another level, right? That kindness you can show, help you can show. So tell me, how is face therapy related to mental and emotional well-being?
So the face is very close to our brain, and mental well-being is also from this coming here, although it's connected to the body.
Yeah.
So if we can clean up our head, inside of the head, and see what happens, it's like cleaning. This is our brain. But if you pour so much water, it fills up, and you will not have any space to process, digest, or create something new. So face reflex therapy is one of ways to reduce all the accumulated information or emotions whatsoever, bring it to less quantity, so we can bring more information, create new ideas, and we can have more energy to do something positive for the society. This is how I see.
Do people come to you mostly with physical pain or emotional pain?
Both, absolutely both. Because very often what happens is that because they are holding so much pain and they feel even more depressed. But if we can first reduce the pain within the person, they will feel the uplifting change. So from there, they can also start finding, I feel better now. So what else can I do to make myself even improve conditions? So it's vice versa.
Can you tell me how our emotional state shows up on our face, like stress line, wrinkles, tension, dullness? How is that reflected on our face?
This is something probably also combined with the aesthetic, the beauty purpose also. Because what happened is that, especially for women, we come, I start having the wrinkles here and all this, the smile wrinkles. But these are actually the history, like our book, that we can see what has happening in our life. And when it comes to happiness, I would say these wrinkle lines is beautiful. But when it comes to suppressed emotions, for example, you can also give it a try and see how you feel.
Yeah.
Even if it's a fake, if you think of the sad time, immediately the edge of the lips go down. Anger, sadness, frustration, like face becomes so tight. But then when you start thinking something happy, like for me, being here with you makes me happy. And immediately edge of the lips go up. And this smiley face send a signal to our brain. And that creates the positive shift in within the body. So this is how I see the person's face and how to help them change.
So do you think a lot of dullness on the skin is obviously coming from an emotional state?
Absolutely, yes. Emotional part, also lacking of physical body movement.
Yeah.
Because if we don't move our body, how we emotionally feel start closing the body. And if we close our body, we don't get enough oxygen because our breathing also very shallow, tight, rounded body. Spine becomes too round. But then when you move our body, even gentle, slow movement, you can also try from here to here, start breathing deeply, and immediately shows on the skin. So dullness in the skin, we can see from various angles. Emotions, yes, because if the emotion is down, our body physical posture goes down. But when you smile, happy, everything starts flowing. So there is a simple way to see.
What you're saying is right, like how we hold emotional toxicity, we hold physical toxins as well. And I think what you're saying is very right. If we hold the toxins in our mind, they will start to show on the skin because then we physically start to hold those toxins as well.
Exactly.
But what about those people who perpetually look cheerful and happy and are actually really sad inside? How do they do it?
You see, this is a very, very good point. For example, in traditional medicine world, in terms of holistic approach, too much happiness, too much joy is not ideal. So it's like we need to have a moderation so we can balance within the heart. We might have sadness, but if we can balance with the happiness, sadness, there will be always the beauty in between to keep zen, moderation, calmness. So yes, there are people extremely happy, but the inside there is something not happy, sadness. But this is the beauty of being human being.
So when you read people's faces, when you touch them, when you go for face reflex therapy, are you able to gauge that this person is just happy on the surface, on the skin, but within isn't?
Yes. Very often when I touch, I notice something is happening. So in that case, I would not directly ask what's happening, but nicely, the soft way to just let them open their heart, mind in a safe way. Because without having safe space, we will not be able to open.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yes.
Even in therapy, it's so hard for people to open up because they're so used to putting that that shield on top, that filter on top, that I'm perfectly okay. And for them to open up, that safe place is so important. You're absolutely right. So do you believe unprocessed emotions like grief and trauma can live on the skin and on the muscles?
Yes, it's absolutely yes. For example, maybe I give you some examples. Yeah. This area, sometimes some pains happens when I touch. Pain, yes, underneath of the cheekbones. Here, it's correlated to our shoulders and also respiratory systems. And in the traditional medicine systems, as a theory, lung, large intestines, they are kind of connected with accumulated grief. And if we have so much grief, sadness in this region, it would eventually bring the stiffness on the shoulders, neck, and also it would eventually show on our face as well.
Yeah.
So this is one aspect, the connection between physical body and face plus emotion.
Holding on to grief and trauma.
Yes.
When I meet some people and they look extremely dull, they have large dark circles, and it's not just the skin, it's not just the discoloration, but it's also the fact that they look like they're really upset from inside. And sometimes you ask them and they say it's genetic. Everyone in my family has dark circles. So do you think it's largely genetic, or do you think it's actually holding on to everything else that you said?
That's very interesting. I really like this point. So all my family has this. Where this idea comes from? Is it because grandmother said, like this, you're always like this, our family is like this. And the mother says, yes, we are always like this. And then the child also absorbs the information and then keeping certain negativities within us. That patterns will also stay in our mind and it will eventually show on the face. So sometimes if I see generation by generations, like grandparents and parents and my clients, I kind of see the patterns, why this is happening in terms of on the face. And when I touch, there might be also significant correlations between these three generations.
You're absolutely right. I've heard, where somebody will say, oh, my grandfather had anger issues, my father had anger issues, it naturally comes to me.
Yes.
So they've made that pain point theirs automatically without thought process. They haven't even understood themselves. Do they really have anger issues, or they've just kind of put it in themselves and now they genuinely have anger issues because they've processed it like that?
Exactly, yes.
So when you see the three generations or the two, you're able to see the same signs?
Actually, can be same, but also it might show up somewhere else on the face. So, for example, if one person is easy to express their emotion,
correct,
but the other person is not able to express emotion verbally, and that emotion might manifest in somewhere else. So there might be a patterns in terms of face analysis by touch, but the pain in the body might show up in the same way. So by touching the face, because I can figure out what's happening in the person. So I asked my client, have you had any right arm injury? This person, was about age 40, and she looked at me. I can't remember when I had the injury, but it was around the age 18.
Wow.
And then she clicked. Yes, I had one injury, and that is still there. But I could figure out from the face exactly where it was. And by touching through entire face, she felt that all the tension she kept where she had the surgery injury released. And she could move arm easily. So there is one examples out of many, many cases.
Wow. So you're like the magic touch doctor.
That's what people say. But, I'm just following all the protocols that we need to do as a face reflexologist.
Amazing. So let's go into healing that goes deeper than physical. Let's go into a little bit of the emotional part of healing. Tell me, can you share a story where someone experienced deep emotional healing through your therapy?
So quite often nowadays, people missing the touch and to feel that they are cared, they are loved. So a few times, quite recently, as soon as I touched their face, tears start coming out. Such case, I can feel that they are taking care of others very much, the family members, even colleagues, neighbors, but they have not received enough care. So just touching, placing my hands on the person's face, that neglected sadness, that want to be loved by others, it comes up. So after that treatment, these people just go home with full energy and then can go back to caring others again. So this is also one case that touching, the healing can happen.
So can you tell me, how does the shift in the physical state affect the shift in the mental state? Is it immediate? Do people realize immediately like, oh, the physical pain's gone away, hence the mental pain they were storing? Or do you feel like after the physical session, they still need emotional healing through therapy sessions?
So this is a case by case. Some cases, one session feels a big shift from depressed condition to improve the condition. Some cases, like we figure out the first time there is something underneath deep sitting in our body mind. So we continue about 2 to 3 sessions later, then started feeling the big shift. So it really case by case how we can tap into the deeper level.
When you heal people, when you touch people, when you give them that comfort, the energy from your hands, do they ever break down in front of you and tell you, like, this is actually my trauma?
That happens very often. So normally my session is about 60 to 70 minutes, but it can be 2 hours, sometimes go beyond 2 hours. So yes, this treatment can help really open up deep emotional part. And also for me, listening to the person, the stories is part of my work, and letting them to just come out, whatever the emotions they kept inside. That's my pleasure to be there and listen. I think that's something you do, listening and guiding your clients.
Tell me, what are some of the common misconceptions related to face reflexology?
Many people think that's a beauty treatment. So they come to me that, oh, can you change my skin condition? Like I have lots of pimples. I want to clean up my skin. Actually, the pimples, we need to think why that's happening. Is it something lifestyle? Or is it coming from the hormonal imbalance, or something emotional part, or even from the external like pollutions or any other causes? So face reflex therapy, this is a beauty part of the face reflex therapy. Not only doing the aesthetic part, but also we can go deep into our body, emotional part. So this is how we see when it comes to beauty treatment.
You know, it's very interesting. I was speaking to somebody and I asked them, have you ever done face reflex therapy? And like you said, you know, the knowledge is limited and it's considered like a beauty treatment. And she said, oh, is it like a face massage? And a lot of people think that. And I was like, I don't think it's a face massage. I think it's deeper than that. Mm-hmm. So I think the knowledge is also missing. You know, where people don't understand that this is therapy from top to inwards. You know, it's from the skin, but it's actually healing your nervous system.
Yes.
I think that's what you target.
Absolutely.
And nervous system is connected to how we feel, our emotional state. So people don't realize how deeply it's connected.
Absolutely. Yes. You just summarized beautifully. And that's exactly what we are trying as a face reflexologist. I have a globally fellow therapists following this the same technique and methods. And what we want to create as a collective, you know, therapist group is to give the opportunity to educate the people that this face reflex therapy is beyond the beauty. That's something to help changing from within. The nerve systems you mentioned, the vagus nerve system, which correlated to our emotions. That's why often we have neck pain, jaw tension, and this face reflex therapy can help reduce tension stored in our vagus nerves, and that would create positive trigger of healing.
So you have beautiful skin. And you have so much shine on your face, and for the last half an hour, that's honestly what I'm looking at. Like, your skin is radiating. Tell me what's the secret behind it.
Okay. I would like to reveal my secret. Number 1, Qigong practice. This is like energy uplifting movement practice, which has been passed on by my master. And he taught me how to bring the energy and how to really bring the shining energy from within. So that's one thing. And also, in general, I try to stay as natural as possible. Today I have a little bit of makeup, thanks to the professional teams. But normally I try to minimize makeup, little bit of sunscreen, and I just go outside and enjoy the sunshine. I do not put excessive covers, yes, and hat. No, I don't care. I would like to have sunshine. So this way, it gives me a more space to enjoy life. So I think these 2 parts helps me probably keeping my skin condition relatively good. So
I definitely want to learn the tricks that you have, and I want to get into the practice that you said, and probably at the end we'll do that.
yes, that'd be nice.
So let's get into self-care and nervous system and emotional well-being and self-honoring like we spoke before. So tell me, what does real self-care look like when it's focused on the nervous system and not just aesthetics?
So self-care, there are many approach to do. Maybe I can divide it into quietness, movement, and also more proactive part. One is meditation. I think so many people talking about meditation. There are so many different methods to do.
Correct.
So finding one method that works for you, it's a key. And probably to find the one works for you, take it as a journey. Many people say, I don't know which one to do. I cannot sit. I cannot meditate. Yeah, just keep trying it and see what happens. It took me for a long time for me also to sit calm. But then one moment, I had this experience. I had a headache after having some glass of wines. And then it came to me, I should just meditate and see what happens. 5 minutes sitting quiet, meditating, headache gone. And that gave me the understanding of the greatness of meditation. So then that's more quiet sitting part. Then I do also movement such as Qigong I mentioned and gentle yoga practice and spontaneously paying attention to breathing. This is a nice way to take care of ourselves. And another part is to help others. Of course, we have to help ourselves first, as we say, put oxygen mask first on yourself. But once you know that you're in a good place to take care of yourself, start stepping outside and help others. And that gives us the energy to really enjoy life. These are 3 things I think we can look into as a self-care.
Do you think touch is such a powerful tool that is almost overlooked for mental wellness?
I think so. When it comes to mental wellness, people come to more like analysis of like what happened in the past and finding out the past trauma. But sometimes simple touch, but point on touch can actually release. Yes. I also now learning color light therapy, which has also very powerful way of releasing trauma, emotional stagnations, even physical pains. So our body is intelligent. And by touch, all these nerve endings with existing on the face, hands, even ears and feet, our skins send the message to the brain that you're in a safe place. And this touch can give you an opportunity to improve and come out from the shell and see the world from the new point.
Also, I think it'll let go of the pain, right? If your nervous system is telling you that you don't have the pain anymore, then mentally also you start thinking you don't have the pain anymore.
Exactly. And also related to point you mentioned, if, like, for example, often we have a stiff shoulder, and when they go massage, very strong massage often you receive, which is fine when it comes to deep tissue massage, more releasing. However, sometimes I apply only a gentle touch, light touch, and people ask me, why you don't go deep? Because you know why your shoulders are so tight? Because you didn't feel safe. And by giving you light touch, your body and brain nerve system feels safe. So they can give more blood flow and muscle system start loosening up much faster. So this is another way to look into the power of touch.
You know, a lot of people are not able to move ahead in life like we spoke because they're holding on to pain. And I largely see that they're holding on to pain in any form. Pain of not being loved in the childhood, pain of not having money in childhood, pain of not having the best relationships, pain of not having enough food. The pain can be anything.
Yes.
And then in adulthood, they take it and they're still not living fulfilled lives because they're holding on to that pain. But what I also see largely people holding on to is fear. Fear of being happy, fear of being successful, fear of having a successful relationship, fear of being rich, fear of being poor. So I feel like even fear is a very large part of holding us back. How do you find fear, or how do you detect fear when you're doing face reflex therapy?
Maybe I can show you how to find, where to find. So there are many parts on the face reflecting fear, but very often what I find is this area.
Here.
Here, yes. This part is correlated to our feet or even the bottom part of the spine. In a yogic way, they call it the root chakra. Root chakra is also correlated to grounding, the sense of grounding. If we are having so much fear, we kind of feel that we are not grounding. We feel that our feet are not there.
Correct.
So feet, bottom of the spine, and this part are the reflex zone points in our school system, face reflex therapy. So by touching this zone, I can also detect that, okay, there must be some fear going on in the person's emotions. But also touching through, not only here, the other parts of the face also reflects the fear. Then just tapping into that zone points, these people can slowly release the holding emotion. And once the space comes into our body, they can see the same life from different angles.
Wow. So what about people with double chins or who don't have the face structure where it's easy to point out? What about them? How do you figure out with them?
So I have a specific way of touching. I said but I should say, respecting the fellow face reflexologist, we have a technique to how to touch each part of the face. So we're putting 2 fingers around the chin area, can be also face line, lower part of the lips. And we go into deeper layer of the face structure. And often, if the person has stored emotions, something not resolved, we started feeling sort of like crystal, like a sand, like sometimes can be like stone. It will show up on the face. By touching, we can actually sense it. But that's not necessarily correlated to fear or emotions, but also the physical conditions. This lower part of the face, chin, lower lip, below lower lips, they are also correlated to, for the ladies, it's a female reproductive system reflex zones. So sometimes when I touch, if I see any stagnation around the area, I kind of ask nicely, like, have you been having the menstruation regularly, or you've been going through any difficulties? And this way, actually, we can have conversation through the face, but also the verbally, to figure out how we can team up and improve the condition.
That's interesting what you said. Makes me think of reproduction. People have fertility issues. Some of them are medical, means the woman genuinely has physical problems conceiving. But sometimes, where women go to a hospital, they get all their checkups, and the doctor says you're perfectly fine. There's no problem. You'll conceive. It'll happen. Do you think that's also some emotion being held? And do you think face reflex therapy helps there?
Yes. So one of many reasons why the ladies might be having difficulties to conceive, it can be fear of having a baby. Although they want to have a baby, deep inside of them, there is a fear, maybe I might lose my freedom. Maybe I have to give up my career. Maybe my husband or partner might not be able to do this work together. All these different type of fears.
Or the fear could be that maybe I won't be a good mother because you haven't seen one.
Yes. All these little fear might be one of reasons. And also worrying too much. Like what if something happens to me? What if something happened to baby? Before conceiving, such worrying, overthinking could also cause the hormonal imbalance in the long run. So this is how I analyze. And by touching, I can identify, is it coming from the fear of having the baby or worrying about the future?
Yeah.
And then accordingly, I would make a program and then help my clients to move forward to expand their family members.
How beautiful. So how do you feel that you create a safe space for anybody coming to you? Because, when we go for any sort of wellness, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, we need to feel safe in that space. How do you create that space for people?
Thank you for asking me the question. It's always my responsibility to create a clean, safe place, light, music, sound, and also color. I tend to use white color a lot when it comes to my professional engagements. And this way, people would feel not overwhelmed by the different colors and also the way how I speak to my clients.
Yeah.
I think that's also very important. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be too arrogant. It's something that I want to always listen to the person first, be curious and why they are here to see me. And this is how I do personally to create the space to hold their time and zone.
You have this beautiful energy around you. It's almost like I see like white light. And I said this to you even before we started shooting. You have such great energy and it's so calm and so zen. How do you regulate your emotions? Do you do face reflex therapy for yourself? Do you practice mental therapy for yourself? Do you do counseling? Mm-hmm. How do you get this zen state?
Oh, thank you. So first of all, I think it's more coming to dedication to my work that I would like to be always neutral. And in Japanese, we have a word saying moderation, ちょうどいい, 加減がいい. It's like in between, not to go too much, not to go too less. Just keep in between. And this is something probably engraved in my DNA. Always try to go middle way. So this is one thing. But also doing meditation, qigong work, and also being in nature. This three part is probably helping me to be more calm, but often also sometimes I cannot regulate my emotions.
No, that's because you're human and thank God for that. Like everyone should have all the array of emotions, right? That's what makes us human.
Exactly, yes. So when it's happy, I would like to express max with my smiles. I think the smile is such an important part of our emotions, actually face expression, expressing the joy. And, if you are around with the people who has great smile, you would immediately reflect back to the person with the smiles or laugh.
Yeah.
So I think this is a very beautiful way of helping others. Especially, I have one experience, if I may share this.
Yes, absolutely.
When I was living in Switzerland, I guess I had a face expression of sad face expression, which like the edge of the lips goes down. And I was on the bus, and this elderly gentleman came up to me and then saying in French that, lady, smile. I was like, what happened? And the life is beautiful. And if you smile, everything comes together. And that one moment, it just clicked me how important this smile is. And this is one main part. But also my mother used to say, Mariko, just don't forget about smiling because that changes everything.
It does.
Yes.
It does. Sometimes you're on the red light in Bombay and those kids come to you with things they want to sell. And they'll always be smiling. Didi, they want this, they want that. It's actually that smile that makes you give them something. You're actually at
Absolutely.
that point not thinking, oh my God, let me donate the world. You're actually thinking they're smiling. Okay, what do you want?
Yes.
It's that smile that actually converts into
I
everything else.
totally agree with you. Every time when I come to Mumbai and I see these beautiful faces they are on the face, it just gives me a joy and also natural healing. It makes me feel like I want to do something good to share this smile and happiness. And always, what can I do? So that's one part that this city gives me.
So, Marika, I'm going to do a round called Burst the Bubble.
Okay.
It's a few fun questions, and please give me the first answer that comes to your mind.
Okay.
So, tell me, one myth about wellness you wish everyone would stop believing.
Stop believing. Wellness expensive. No.
Correct. You're right. I think that is something. Wellness is luxury. Most people think that. If stress had a physical form, what would it look like or feel like on the face?
Squeezing face, like so tight. Eyebrows come closer and everything coming to the center part of the face.
There are some people who perpetually have a frown on their face.
Yes.
Why is that?
It's coming from the way how they think. And that's every day doing the same way of thinking. It will come on the face. It's a patterns, mental patterns.
My husband asked for vada pav like this. You have vada pav? And I'm like, why are you frowning? Ask like this, na? It's actually true.
Yes.
Right? Perpetually frowning. So that was the fun question. Okay. A self-care trend that actually is doing more harm than good.
Excessive self-care. Moderation is the key.
What's the one thing on your face that reveals about your mental state before you even speak?
Before you even speak, on the face, edge of the lips. If it's going down, there is a sadness, anger, frustration.
Tell me one word that describes how emotional release feels during therapy.
Zen.
What's more healing? Silence, movement, or touch?
Everything.
But if you had to pick one?
Touch.
One last thing you used to believe about success that no longer serves you.
No longer serves. It's probably, let me think, there are many things coming up. Exposure to the world. Success doesn't mean that you are always exposed to media or what sort of things. Because there are small success that we feel I made the person's health or emotion improved. This is a success for me.
So tell me, Mariko, which is the most common tension physically on our face that's visible to you and that we may not realize we have and actually can be released by ourselves?
Yes, of course. That would be my pleasure to share what we can do as a self-care. So very often, my clients come to ask me how to fix TMJ, the stiffness on the jaw, neck, shoulder, which are all connected. So today I would like to share what you can do for yourself in a daily practice. So first one is this point where the upper and lower part of the jaw connect. There is a one point. If you already have a tension, when you touch, you might feel pain. So using 2 fingers, press deep in, then roll forward 5 to 6 times and roll backward 5 to 6 times. It's very easy. So this one is one technique. And also you can use your fingers to massage this face line right in front of the ear where also the very important nerve system is running.
This one?
Yes. And you might also feel tension using 2 fingers, deep pressure, moving your finger from center to outer line. So if using finger is difficult, you can also use the root of the thumb and using a little bit of pressure, moving your hand up and down. And this will help to reduce tension around our jaw and face line, which are also connected to our neck and shoulder.
And how often would one have to do it?
So in the morning when you wake up, it helps to release from the night before the tension. Before you go to sleep, you can also do this.
For the whole days.
Yes. And during the daytime, if you're under pressure of the work or even school, you can do this. So instantly gives you release of tension.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mariko. It was absolute honor having you here, and I hope I'm able to carry some of that positive energy that you have.
Thank you so much, Ashna. This is fantastic opportunity, and really, I wish you also all the best and more healing to the world. Thank
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mariko Hiyama. I had a great chat with Ashna on the Therapy Diaries, where we spoke about my journey from finance to healing and how facial reflex therapy, energy work, and movement practice help release trauma, anxiety, and emotional stress. You can catch the episode on YouTube, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform.